Okay, this is just a quick video to kind of go over the uh, media arts and animation industry. I find people all the time confused a little bit about the industry and where jobs are in industry and how they might fit into the industry. So this is just a little quick video to kind of explain this a little bit, okay? Basically, you have two different parts of the industry. You have the media arts part of the industry and the animation part of the industry, okay? The media arts part of the industry is basically, you can kind of think of it as pre-visualization. So what you're being asked to do is to create something that doesn't exist. Could be from drawings, could be from photographs. You're actually creating things that don't exist. And there are various industries that utilize people in the media arts. Most of this is for marketing purposes. So you would be hired by places like advertising agencies, architecture industry, and the energy industry like oil and gas. There are other parts of this industry too, but this is a huge part of the industry. And I find probably most people get jobs in this part of the industry versus the animation part of the industry. Okay. Now in the animation part, animation basically means where things are going to be moving. And so usually that's divided into two areas, the movie industry and the game industry. The movie industry, of course, has two branches. You have live action, which means it's a film, and then you're putting some animated things in the films. And then the other ones would be animation, and that's in which the entire movie is animated. So there's kind of two different branches of that. And then the other part of the animation industry is the game industry. And that's kind of broken into games that are produced for consoles, something like Xbox, or games that are produced to play on a computer, or games that are produced to play on a handheld device like a tablet or your phone. Okay, and all of those are kind of different parts of the industry. They're related in some ways, but they're kind of structured a little bit different. So those are kinds of the different parts of the industry that you can find work in. Okay. And then within those industries, then there's basically three different areas within those industries that you can find jobs. One of them is being a modeler. Another one is being a concept artist. Another one's being an animator. Okay. And so let's kind of look at those. Okay. In the modeling part, basically modeling is broken down into three areas. You have what's called hard surface modeling, and that's where you're making things like transports, vehicles. You might be making weapons, okay, or assets, okay, which would be things like furniture and such, okay. Modelers also build environments, okay, and if it's in the game industry, those would be modular environments. They're ways to be broken down, but not all environments are modular. If you work in the architecture industry, they're not modular. And then the other part of modeling is modeling characters. Okay, characters are creatures. So basically organic kinds of structures. Okay. Now for concept, it's kind of the same thing. If you're a concept artist, you have to be able to design hard surface objects. You have to be able to design transports and weapons and assets, as well as environments and as characters. And I see it, people all the time go, oh, well, I want to be a character concept artist. Okay. That's, most people are not going to hire a character concept artist because what they want to do is be able to hire one concept artist that has the ability to design anything that they need designed. Environments, characters, hard surface. So it's not that there aren't people that are specialized in character, but that's a very specialized, and there's not many jobs in that. Let's also look at things that you would have to produce as a concept artist. You have to produce model sheets. That's a sheet where you're drawing the character from the front and the side and the back, and that give to a modeler so they can model the character. You have to do character sheets. That's kind of like where you're making the character have expressions and such so we can get a nature of the character. You have to be able to do storyboards. You have to be able to do illustrations. So there's a lot of different aspects of being a concept artist that you need to be aware of. Okay. On animation, basically animation for the most part is character animation. I mean, yeah, you do animate some other things like some vehicles, but for the most part, people are looking for people who are character animators. And character animation is really kind of divided into three different types of character animation. You would have keyframing, and that's just where you're actually doing the basic keyframes for the animation. Of course, the computer does the tweening in between. Sometimes you're doing motion capture, where you are using cameras to actually capture the initial motion. That motion is never used. That animation is never used by itself. That is just a start-off point, and then you come in and you massage that information. And then if you're going into games, you have to do cycles. So you have to be able to create something in a cycle that has to be played over and over again. So according to where you're going, the character animation is a little bit different. So those are really the kind of the basics of the different areas that you can find work in this industry. Now, there's other areas, but this is, just a quick overview. Okay. Now, when we're talking about jobs, though, basically you can think of it this way. Okay. The percentage of the industry needs to hire people in this manner. Okay. Modeling, 90% of the jobs in the industry are for modelers. Okay. Concept is 0.05%. It is a extremely small part of the industry. Okay. And animation is 9.05% of the industry. So you can see that if you actually want to get a job and work in the industry, you need to be good at modeling. Okay. Concept artists is where a lot of people, I would say 90% of the people that I teach want to be concept artists. And there's, all kinds of philosophical reasons as to why they want to be a concept artist. And there are mixed reasons that people want to be a concept artist. But the thing about it is unless you are a badass, you are not going to be a concept artist. And I see people, going, I teach at the Art Institute of Dallas, and I also teach in the Art Institute online. And I see people, I'd say the vast majority of students, when they come in, they want to be a concept artist. Okay. I look at their skills and have to break it to them that they don't have the skills to be a concept artist, but they could be a modeler. Okay. And so they just have to kind of broaden out to, see where they could use their skills in a better fashion. The animation industry, is not as, heavy in jobs as it used to be, because a lot of that information now is jobbed out to Korea and Japan. And so some of the keyframing for like 2D animation might be done here in the States, but most of that's jobbed out. So the animation industry has kind of dropped off quite a bit. Now, if you can do motion graphics and you're doing animation within motion graphics, then that's a broader part of the industry that you can fit into. But I do see people all the time just, they want to be a concept artist. And then what happens is they don't take their other classes that they're taking, like their modeling classes. They kind of already decided that they're going to be concept artists. So they don't pay attention to their modeling class. And then they finally get to their portfolio classes, and then they can't pass their portfolio classes because they're not good enough to be a concept artist. And so then they struggle because they didn't really pay attention to their modeling classes, which is where most of the jobs are. And so that becomes an issue. So hopefully this just kind of opens it up a little bit, where you can kind of see where the chances of you working in the industry, you have a better chance of working in the industry if you can have really good modeling and texturing skills over, say, conceptual skills or animation skills. Now, this is just an overview. There are exceptions to all of this, but this is just my experience over my 37 years of teaching in the industry and teaching people to get jobs in the industry. That's kind of how it breaks out. Okay. Hopefully this helped you.